Hi friends and real progressives. This is Steve coming back at you one more time. I wanted to answer a question that came up in the inbox that, you know what, it seems like it should be very easy to understand, but maybe it's not. Maybe we haven't made it clear enough why economics matters so much to real progressives, why we focus so heavily on economics as opposed to some of the other folks who focus a lot more on the personalities and a lot more on, a feel-good message and so forth. Years ago, I've told my story several times about being a former Republican and understanding how Republicans have blocked a lot of progress over the years based on the simple and very selfish idea that taxes fund spending. They're very, very concerned about the idea that they don't want to pay for your laziness or our laziness. They're very concerned about paying for what they see as your bad choices or your bad, whatever. They really, really vested in the idea that their tax dollars are funding your Obama phone. They're very vested in so many faulty beliefs. They would like to cut government completely out. Look at libertarians who are on the rise. Gary Johnson's got a larger national following at this point than Jill Stein. Jill Stein's actually fighting for us. Gary Johnson's actually talking about austerity. He's actually talking about cutting government spending. But yet he has more people listening to him, more people saying, I'll vote for Gary Johnson, than Jill Stein does. And it all devolves to a motive of economics. And just saying people are bad, or you don't like that, or that's selfish, or whatever, it doesn't solve the problem. You can't get anywhere trying to solve their morality or lack thereof, and they can't do it back. So it comes down to understanding how and why we tax. It comes down to how and why we fund things. And I swear to God, I wish I could just sit there and go, hello everybody, and you guys would love me and like all that stuff and, good morning, good afternoon, and blah, blah, blah. But instead, I feel like I've got to talk to you about these meaty subjects that actually cause change to happen. Because I know what it's like to be a Republican. I know what it's like to be a Democrat. And I know what it's like to be a wandering progressive without a home right now. And I'm telling you, our ideas are the right ideas. But if you don't know how to fund these things and you keep playing the language and the semantic game of the Republican supply-siders, if you keep talking about Rothschilds instead of focusing on Congress, making Congress do its job, I swear to God, we're never going to get anywhere. I kid you not. We can be as angry as we want to be. We can do all kinds of volunteer work. We can show up at rallies. We can do all kinds of really cool stuff. But if we don't demand that they stop talking about taxes funding spending at the federal level and start really dealing with us straightforwardly, folks, I swear to God, nothing that you want to happen will happen. Literally, all the great ideas you have, all the camaraderie and unity, and all the fantastic Jill memes, and all the fantastically bad Donald Trump memes, and all the bad Hillary memes, and all the other memes that you pass around, none of it will come true. It won't matter a hill of beans who gets in there if you can't tell them, I know your game. I know your game. You're trying to make us fight over crumbs at the bottom of the barrel, at the bottom of the box. You're trying to give us crumbled up potato chips instead of a big one. And unfortunately, I swear on my life, I see so many of you willing to go along for that ride. I see you liking all the fluffy videos. I see you commenting on the fluffy videos. I see you sharing the fluffy videos. I see you sharing fluffy articles that don't say anything. You read through it and it's like, où est le bouffe? Where's the beef? Where's the meat, man? Where's the substance? The stuff that's going to really bring about the change. We've got the unity now. You guys know what the problem is. You're freaking dying on the vine. The economy's not working for you. We've got that much down. You got that part. Now what we need to do is tell our government how to serve our needs. Not just, hey, you know what, I need health care. That's great. But then they're going to come back and say, how are you going to pay for it? And you're going to go, cut military spending. Or you're going to say some other thing like, oh, stop subsidies to here, or stop doing this. And, you know, sure, we can reprioritize things, but cutting spending is not the answer. Raising taxes even is not the answer. Our country is monetarily sovereign. And until you understand that, we are going to be treading water. We're going to be floating in a pool of status quo mediocrity that we're doing to ourselves. So all the stuff I put out there, all the stuff our page puts out there, some of it's deep. If you don't understand it, ask. Seriously, it's that important. I'll put my life on hold. I'll tell my wife and kids, hold on for a second. I got to help some people understand how to fund the revolution. It's that important, folks. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm putting my personal life on hold so that you can understand this. It's that important. When I learned this for the first time, when it first hit me, when I finally stopped fighting the idea, because I just had it in my head that taxes fund spending. Once I learned it, it was like, oh my God, I've got to tell the world. It was like I wanted to be John the Baptist running around telling everybody this great truth. And it's not some crazy thing, it's facts. When Nixon took us off the gold standard, the idea of printing too much money went out the window. The only reason that was the issue was because it was pegged to a commodity. In other words, if I have $1, I could trade it in for a thing of gold. That doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't exist anymore. If we have good work that can be done, we have money that can be spent if our Congress chooses to do it. There is no strapped. I have to keep saying it over and over and over again. And I'm telling you, I'm willing to give up sleep. I'm willing to give up, like, I don't know, whatever, man. Just to get you guys to understand, because it's that important. I would love to put a bunch of hearts and stuff up there. I'd love to give you guys just a bunch of really awesome, fun memes. Maybe one day I'll be able to have enough financing or whatever to be able to create cartoons that show this stuff in real cartoon format. Maybe, you know, like the old Schoolhouse Rock. Would that work? Do you think if we made some Schoolhouse Rock type videos with, you know, like the cartoon characters, dun, 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 that showed you flat out that your taxes don't fund spend, do you think that would help? Maybe help kids learn in elementary school so that they can debunk their parents? I mean, we're taught a lot of bad things in our life. We were taught a lot of bad things about race when we were younger. We were taught a lot of bad things about homosexuality and different kind of oppressive behaviors. Well, we were taught really, really oppressive economics too. And this is just yet one more thing that you guys have to learn with me, because we can't make progress if we can't get past the idea that taxes fund spending. I'm serious. All this stuff that we're doing, it's just like a hamster wheel. It's just busy work if we don't get this. If we don't demand that they take notice and change, we're just riding around on a hamster wheel. Here's the next meme, here's the next meme, here's the next meme. I'm serious. Do you know all the great ideas in the world won't get passed if there are still people out there who think that taxes fund spending at the federal level? I kid you not. It's the biggest myth that we have to overcome to make a progressive world come into existence. Otherwise, libertarians who are running around telling everybody to cut spending, libertarians who would absolutely rob us of our monetary sovereignty with bullshit, and Republicans who do the same thing will absolutely win the day, because they're trying to tell you that a monetarily sovereign government has to be run like a checkbook. Well, I don't have a credit card that can go up all the way. Why should the government? My hard-earned tax dollars. Guys, you've all heard it before. And yet you have no answer for it. And I'm giving you the answer. Taxes don't fund spending. It's not as sexy as, you know, I can't put on a mini skirt. I could, but you'd barf. You know, I can't bat my eyelashes at you and make you happy. This is just economics, but it is the core quintessential deal for us making anything happen. From green energy. I mean, think about it. If our climate is dying, our world is going to fry because we aren't fixing climate change. You want to change out energy sources. You want to change. And the private sector is saying it's not profitable yet. So they're not going to do it. The only way to do it is to have someone that's not worried about ROI investing in it while it's still bleeding edge. And who has the money? Who is the one entity able to print its own money? The federal government. That's it. And if you look at Europe, Europe gave up their monetary sovereignty. So now you have countries like Germany who are net exporters controlling everything in Germany. And all the net importers, or, you know, like Greece, who no longer have control over their own monetary sovereignty, are now bankrupt. Is that what you want? Do you want to give up our monetary sovereignty so we can be like Greece? So we can be like Puerto Rico? So we can be like Detroit? Your ignorance of economics mirrors mine before I learned this. This is not like, you know, I'm not the guru in terms of breaking down these big, you know, complex equations. I just understand the higher level concepts and can give you the source material for every single thing I say. I have a Master of Business Administration. All of the economics we learned was 1971 and back. It didn't talk about what happened once we got off the gold standard. I had to unlearn an entire Master of Business Administration in economics so that I could understand what changed from 1971 to present. If this bores you, maybe progress bores you. If this bores you, maybe having single-payer health care bores you. If learning about economics and understanding this stuff bores you, maybe the revolution is something you just want to clack your mouth about and just yap about and show up at things and put your fist in the air and say, yay, I'm a revolutionary, but you're not doing anything. You're like marching in place. You're like screaming at the wall. You're not getting anything done if that's the case. Economics is the key to everything that we've got to do. Every single thing that Bernie Sanders put forth was shot down because how are you going to pay for it? And you all sat there and was like, well, no, we can tax this and we can do that. He was telling you flat out, Bernie Sanders' economic advisor, Stephanie Kelton, I beg you to look her up. If you haven't, look her up. She gets this in spades, folks. She teaches this. She's a professor. She's a former chief economist of the Democratic Party for the U.S. Senate. She was Bernie's chief economic advisor during his campaign. They get this stuff. Stop repeating what libertarians say. They're thinking about the gold standard. They really are. They're not thinking about anything sensible. Please take the time to learn this stuff. It's not sexy, but I swear all the clattering and sharing of memes and everything else won't make a hill of beans of good if you can't affect change in the way our Congress spends money. There should be no sequestration cuts. There should be no cuts. There should be no cuts, folks. It should be exploding. That's why Bernie Sanders said we should not only not cut Social Security, we should lower the age and we should blow it up. We should expand it. You say you love Bernie, and yet you don't understand the economics. How frustrating. How absolutely frustrating. Because I want you to know this stuff so that we can fight those bastards now that Bernie's not in the race without having him there. Somebody's got to keep bringing this stuff to the surface. Jill gets it a little bit, but she doesn't get it Stephanie Kelton level. But we do if we listen and we read and we pay attention. We have that option. Do you want to learn how to fund the revolution? Or do you just want to send around bad GOP memes and bragging about Obama cutting the deficit? What do you want? Do you want a revolution? Or do you want to just run your mouth? Got to ask yourself that question. I love you guys. That's why I'm doing this. Seriously. I want our country right. I want to fix it. Y'all have a great day. This is Steve with Real Progressives, hoping you learn economics.